Did it, guys.
We did it. A whole season.
Whole season of TV. That is it. You guys, we have just finished watching 4 episodes of The Eyes of Wakanda. If you're listening to this on Apple or Spotify, make sure to give us 5 freaking stars. Also, we want to thank people over at Prepper for cutting down these highlights so you can see them here on YouTube. Now that we have finished with this 4-episode anthology series, Coy, how are you feeling, man?
It started a little rocky for me. I definitely had to adjust to the animation. I definitely found a lot of but why? And then by 3, which is halfway over, which was a little bit of a journey, I really liked that it was a story of reclaiming culture and territory and actual physical items, especially since the parallel to African culture being a culture that's lost so much of its history and its artifacts and its items. So I like that element, and I really like tying it into Black Panther with an artifact and all the things that it got to at the end. I think this might be the first time I'm glad they put it all out at once, because I don't know if I would have kept watching. But that is kind of also like a backhanded compliment, because it's like, if it's not good in the first 2, for my experience, not good, but not something I'm enjoying, that doesn't feel good either. But I like 3 the most. I really enjoyed those dynamics between those characters. Then 4, because of its connection to the OG. And then I didn't really connect at all to the Troy one. And then the first one was more of trying to ascertain what was going on for it to be of interest. So definitely bigger fan of the back half. But that's also how I felt about Ironheart, which was our other most recent show. Ironheart was only a month ago.
Yeah. I think that I liked all 4 episodes, but I feel like my enjoyment of them definitely progressed as it went on. Something about the first one didn't connect with me, and I think that it was at least not wholly. I liked seeing this new character kind of come into this setting, trying to alleviate these people, wanting to earn her place amongst the Dora Milaje, and realizing through interacting with that villain that maybe that's not the path that was destined for her. So I appreciated that arc for that character, and then be able to get that in a 30-minute time frame. I think that some of the action was really cool. I really liked peppering in the history of Wakanda over the course of these 4 episodes, because you don't. I will say this show isn't wholly necessary, but I'm glad that we have the world into the piece of this world that flushes out the entirety of Wakanda, or at least plays a part into fleshing out Wakanda as a country. And just seeing the little bits and how they were contributing to history, and then how that last episode tied it all in. I did really like that stuff, and I like that we have people that have played a piece of their own self, have played into the legacy and the history and their love of their country within the context of the stories that took place. So yeah, I think largely it did work for me. And yeah, we don't get a lot of Black animated shows, so for Marvel to put themselves and put their money behind something like this, I'm really curious to know the creative process as to how this idea first came into fruition, how involved Ryan Coogler was with bringing this to life. And yeah, I dug the fact that they found a way to tie it into the first movie. This isn't a necessary watch, but I feel like it peppers in some stuff that we've come to know, especially for the love of that first Black Panther movie. And you clocked it immediately that was the same.
Yeah, the axe
thing, the axe. And I love that they had to disobey their country in the beginning or towards the middle of this episode to save the future of Wakanda, and his arc about him wanting to matter, but he probably has impacted Wakanda with his choice the most, more so than anybody will ever know. And I appreciated a story like that. It's not necessarily about the glory or how other people receive you, but what it means to do the right thing. So yeah, I had a fun time with this. I'm trying to think if I would watch this week to week. I mean, it's a little half-hour thing, so if they did release this week to week, I'm sure I would have tuned in. I don't know if I would have been full. I don't know if I've had that sense of satisfaction, but I am happy that we did watch it all in one go because I feel like it does make the larger picture more clear if each episode or each chapter is in the, is fresh within your head.
It also feels more to me like a comic anthology, like graphic novel, more than weekly issue. Like it doesn't feel like a issue 1, 2, 3, and 4 you'd pick up over the course of months. It feels like a prequel series anthology book that has issues.
Yeah.
So it feels paced for one chunk to me because of the anthology nature of it and because they all coalesce into one thing that, like you said, peppers into the Wakandan history more than it grows anything. It just contextualizes and it gives you a little sense of past. So I liked it all at once more than I would have expected to. And I do think it's a show that is a lot of heart and a lot of care and a lot of history. I just wish I had connected to the first pair of leads first. Like I just didn't connect to the first two protagonists. And I think as we went along, I did. But that made it difficult to really identify with the show in the beginning for me.
Yeah, and I definitely understand that because there is something to you understand the idea of like, okay, these people are doing something for the love of their country. One person wants to reclaim a sense of status so they can be included in this group. The other person is on this long mission who forms a friendship and then comes back and realizes the thing they're fighting for isn't exactly the thing maybe they wanted in the end, or they had to kill their best friend in order to do something for what they perceive to be their duty for their country. So I like that conceptually, and I'm wondering if each of these stories, if they were longer, would have played better. You get a more sense of their heart, more of their relationships with the dynamics in which they're playing with.
I'm glad it at least did the thing What If didn't, which is by the time it ended, you're like, oh, that's why they told the story.
Yeah.
Like with What If, they felt like they kept adding in like, oh, the Uatu plot is somehow like this existential idea, but it did not feel like that in the first 2 seasons. And then it never connected to the MCU. At least this did in the Killmonger stuff in a thematic way. Like they didn't need Michael B. Jordan to show up. They just needed us to connect to, oh, this is a formative part of the Wakanda future. And I like that the first episode is like, we needed someone that goes against the grain to start this war dog idea. And then the second one is like, your country versus your own life. And the third one is your country versus your own life, but also someone else's country is a factor because they've had it long enough that it is part of their identity. And then the fourth one tying into the greater Wakanda. Like I like the zigzags of all the different protagonists and journeys, but the same theme throughout of you versus country and your culture and history. And I thought that was cool.
Yeah, no, I thought it was really cool too, and I'm glad we got to spend some time with these characters. And I think the third one definitely worked the most for me, in part because I think the lead was just a lot of fun.
Iron Fist connection, that was cool. From a comic-y standpoint, like two histories.
Yeah, it was really cool.
First MCU Iron Fist too.
First MCU Iron Fist. I mean, if we're not counting the show, I don't know if that's technically canon.
It was Daredevil and Folding It.
Yeah, it's just like half, and I don't know. But anyway, I think that the way that they did this was really cool. It gave us a little bit of history. Didn't dive fully into the stuff with Iron Fist, but it gave us just enough to understand what Iron Fist was about and how cool that power could be if used properly. But yeah, I think that relationship would be something that I'd be curious to dive into more, because I think each of these is just a small peek into the world of the war dogs. And what's funny, I understand why they chose Eyes of Wakanda. It just kind of pops more, but I feel like this really like the war dog show, the origins of the war dogs of Wakanda. But
that brand wouldn't have sold as well.
No, doesn't have a ring to it.
And it's a little antagonistic. It's a little negative. Whereas Eyes of Wakanda is a positive title.
Yeah.
And you're watching through people's perspective, through their eyes of Wakanda over time.
We're peering into their history.
Yeah, so I liked. I think War Dogs is more of what it's about, but Eyes of Wakanda is also thematically accurate, so it doesn't feel false.
Right. No, I wholeheartedly agree. I appreciated the looks into different histories. I mean, I feel like I liked I liked seeing the stuff in the second episode a bit. I don't know, something about it just wasn't grabbing me. But I think the last two episodes had protagonists that I gravitated towards more. And then he had that arc or I don't know if it was a revelation, maybe her first time saying it, but how he didn't trust her and how he didn't trust people. And then, because of that fact, they led into this whole misunderstanding and this conflict because he couldn't really let somebody in. And yeah, I feel like that's something that could have been explored. He was a very interesting character because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last character, he had something he wanted to prove, but realizing that maybe it's not for everybody to know. And he is the greatest hero of all. And I don't know, how did you feel about them kind of using Black Panther sparingly? Do you feel like it worked for the story? Do you feel like they should have used
Yeah,
it
I feel like if one, you got a whole mess of continuity if you start using Black Panther, and you got to check with all those things. Two, they've got video games with Black Panthers, and three, I think making it about Wakanda made it more about Wakanda. I think if it was a Black Panther show, it would have been like, okay. This felt truly like, I liked that they saved the character until the 4th episode.
Yeah, I like the fact that they were able to utilize the entirety of one, we get to see more history of the country, but yeah, these are like the secret black ops, I suppose, of the secret spies of Wakanda.
They could have made every episode like a Black Panther goes and rescues. They could have made any of those leads Black Panthers.
That's right.
I'm glad they didn't. I would have felt like they were doing it for the sake of the title and not for the sake of the countrymen. The countrymen made it much more interesting.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe they would have sold it to general audiences more had they used Black Panther. But
Probably.
I think that them not using Black Panther, holding back and using restraint on that allowed for us to have stories
like Black Panther in the Trojan War is very much like a sale.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
We wouldn't be able to.
Would it feel
to
how
have
kitschy
that.
it feels?
How what?
Like kitschy it feels. Like Black Panther in Troy feels a little too like, all right, versus like it involving Wakandans.
Yeah, I did appreciate that. And yeah, and it was sad their relationship. Did you buy their relationship in the second episode?
Mostly.
Yeah, he fought against his racist general guy, or the guy who was doubting
as a
dude.
spy, and then he was like, but you were a spy, but a different spy.
Yeah, not in the way you expected or thought he would be. But yeah, I think I overall liked it. I wouldn't say this is my favorite of the animated things. It's probably how did you feel in relation to What If? I know you weren't really a fan of that.
Dude,
one.
I Marvel animation is tens and ones for me, man. It's
tens
rough.
and ones.
Well, like What If I consider pretty near the bottom of my MCU experience. I consider X-Men 97 and Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man near the top of my MCU experience.
Yeah.
This is probably lower third.
Yeah, I mean, I thought there's only 4 things.
No, as in of the MCU.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like I just and no disrespect to this, I just didn't connect until the second half, and it was not animation that I enjoyed looking at as much as I wanted to. Like I really liked the background more than the foreground. And I just never fully felt like I was invested in the characters because of some style choices and some of the acting performance choices, the bigness, and just the arcane style animation just didn't click with me. So yeah, like it's in the bottom third of my MCU, but that's kind of the Marvel animation thing. Is it's either like, oh my god, X-Men and Spider-Man, or it's like those came out.
Yeah.
But I did like the themes. I just didn't like how they were delivered as much. Like I really like the concept of country versus yourself. And I did think that was I liked the writing more than the execution. The writing in this show is great. I didn't love how it got to me.
Yeah, I will say I did appreciate Marvel's versatility as far as the different types of story they can tell within their animated side of their branch. We have Marvel Animation, Marvel Television, and Marvel Studios with the films, and the different types of stories and the different animation. Like X-Men 97 is vastly different from this. And
Spider-Man's vastly different than What If, and I agree.
So on.
But just like a comic artist, I'm gonna like some more than others.
Exactly. Yeah, and I don't know. Maybe this was stylized, but yeah, I think another thing that wasn't working for me, and I liked it, but I think something that could have been stronger is, I don't know, maybe more stylized action. Incorporation of colors and culture into that. Like I think of something like, how Spider-Verse, has a lot of culture in it. At least that first one, and they use things that are comic booky, but I feel like you whatever comic booky Spider-Man style is to that, utilize maybe more the fusion of something comic booky and African into this show. But Grant, I don't know what the budget of this show was. I think it's still it largely worked for me. I wasn't wowed by it, but I enjoyed it. It kind of felt like how when some animated movies get like the TV show spinoff, and you can tell there's like a different degree of animation, or there's like a different team. I felt like whatever the film version of Eyes of Wakanda would look incredible. But this just looks good to me. Yeah. But yeah, I enjoyed it overall.
I'm glad to have seen it. I think of my top half as being stuff I'll rewatch. My top third as being frequent rewatches, and this is probably won't rewatch it, but I'm glad to have seen it.
Yeah, I don't know if I would go back on my own to rewatch it, but like, yeah, if somebody who I know who's into the MCU and especially into the world of Black Panther, I would. I'm like, yeah, this is something you should watch. I can put this on.
Yeah. Especially if someone hasn't seen it, I would encourage it.
Yeah. It's just like, yeah, it's like a little extra flavoring, a little extra seasoning to your Wakandan experience. And hopefully, they do more stuff in the world of Wakanda. I'm happy that they even wanted to explore things that are outside of the films and give us spin-offs and give us more texturing into the history of Wakanda. I think that's great, and if you guys want to explore other stuff, like Wakanda's such a big world.
A lot of comics you guys could read, just saying.
A lot of comics too, yeah, even hell. I'd want to see it's something that's spin off of the Dora Milaje, see what kind of stuff they get into. We got a little bit of them here, both in the first episode and the last episode. But yeah, like just see what the Royal Guard does as a whole. Also, I wonder if that was a Prince reference at the beginning where they had like the exposition with the Royal Guard guy, because it was Purple Rain.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah. Maybe that's great.
Yeah, a little Purple Rain, but
well, yeah. I'm out of voice, guys. So I gave you the last I had.
It's good. All right, guys. Well, I think I said everything I have to say on this show. Yeah, guys, go follow us on socials. Go to rejectnationshop.com. Get your teas like these. And yeah, we will catch you guys in the next one.